Hello everyone, welcome you all for the third session on Module 2. So, Module 2, which we are discussing here is conformal transformation and complex integration. So, the first part that we are discussing in the third session is about complex integration. So, in the earlier two sessions, we have seen the definition of a complex integration, how exactly we have to perform the integration when lines are given, when curve has been given, and when points have been given. So here, let us proceed further and see what is Cauchy's theorem with respect to the complex integration, what are the consequences and problems are we going to discuss in this session. So here, before we get into the Cauchy's theorem, we need to know about the Green's theorem in a plane. So Green's theorem, it is an integral theorem where R is a closed region of the xy plane. R is the closed region of the xy plane bounded by a simple closed curve C, and if m and n are two continuous functions of x and y having the continuous first order partial derivatives, then integral over C m into dx plus n into dy is equal to double integral over R dou n by dou x minus dou m by dou y into dx dy. So this is the Green's theorem, which is one of the integral theorem which converts the line integral to surface integral, single integral to double integral. So yeah, Green's theorem in a plane, as I told you, it has been defined over a closed curve C, which will be in the form of m dx plus n into dy, and which will be equal to double integral over R dou n by dou x minus dou m by dou y into dx dy. So if the curve for an integration which is a closed curve, and if it is in this form, then we can apply the Green's theorem, and this is a statement of a Green's theorem. So using that, we will be proving the Cauchy's theorem. So let us see what is the statement of a Cauchy's theorem is. If f of z is analytic at all the points inside and on a simple closed curve C, then integral over C f of z dz is equal to 0. So f of z must be an analytic function. So what is an analytic function? About the analytic function we have gone through in detail in the module 1. So f of z, it must be an analytic function at one point, and also at all the points inside a simple closed curve C, then integral over C f of z dz will be equal to 0, which is said to be the Cauchy's theorem. So let us prove this result. In order to prove that, consider your f of z, and f of z is always u plus iv, and it is given as it is an analytic function. And so let us consider integration of f of z dz. So f of z is u plus iv and dz is dx plus I dy. We know very well. So now let us multiply this u plus iv along with dx plus I dy and segregate the real and imaginary part. So when we do the multiplication of u plus iv and dx, so u into dx and iv into I dy, okay. Similarly, u into I dy, iv into dx. So we have to multiply, and on multiplying and segregating the real and imaginary part, this is going to be the real part and this is going to be the imaginary part. So call this as equation 1 and keep it aside. Now you observe this is in the form of m dx plus n dy. So where m is equal to u and n is equal to minus v. So we can apply the Green's theorem over here. So Green's theorem for this integral, and the Green's theorem is given by m dx plus n dy is equal to double integral over R dou n by dou x minus dou m by dou y. So that concept of Green's theorem, we are going to use it here. So we get that as, so when we apply the Green's theorem for this, integral over C f of z dz is equal to double integral over R, we are just substituted for m and n. So when we substitute it, we get dou v by dou x minus dou u by dou y, and this dx and dy is as it is. This is for the first integral. The second integral, the imaginary part, this here also we are going to apply the Green's theorem. We get it as dou u by dou x minus dou v by dou y into dx dy. So what we have to prove? We are supposed to prove this integral over C f of z dz is equal to 0. Means this entire thing should become 0. So in order to do that, and it is also given that the given function f of z is analytic. So when we say a function is analytic, if it satisfies the CR equations, dou u by dou x is equal to dou v by dou y, and dou v by dou x is equal to minus dou u by dou y. When they satisfy the CR equations, we say the function is analytic. So it has been given the function is analytic, and obviously the u and v, the real and imaginary part, should satisfy this, and we are going to use this in the above integral. So dou u by dou x is going to be replaced. So here we have dou v by dou x. Dou v by dou x is nothing but minus dou u by dou y. So here already one more minus is there. Minus and minus, it becomes plus. Dou u by dou y minus dou u by dou y, they'll get cancelled. Similarly, here we are going to replace dou v by dou y as dou u by dou x. So this is positive and this is negative after replacement, which gets cancelled, and it gives the value as 0. So we get, from here we get 0 plus I into 0. So 0 plus I0 can be written as 0. So integral over C f of z dz is equal to 0. Hence the Cauchy's theorem has been proved. So now let us proceed further. So the consequences of Cauchy's theorem, the results which have been arrived by using the Cauchy's theorem are: the first one, if f of z is analytic in a region R, and if P and Q are any 2 points in it, then integral P to Q f of z dz is independent of the path joining P and Q, and that is P to Q f of z dz is same for all the curves joining P and Q. So integral over C1 f of z dz, integral over C2 f of z dz will be the same. So here it means to say that there are 2 points in a plane. One is P and the other one is Q. These 2 points P and Q can be joined in a number of ways. So one is this. I'll take P to Q, and this curve joining P and Q can be taken as C1. At the same time, we can also join the points P and Q through C2. Similarly, this P and Q can be joined in other ways also. So whatever may be the path joining P and Q, the integration of f of z along any of the paths will be the same. That was what the meaning. So either integration of f of z over C1 or integration of f of z over C2 will be the same. That is the first consequence which we are going to arrive, which we have arrived from using the Cauchy's theorem. So similarly, let us see the second consequence. If C1 and C2 are the 2 simple closed curves such that C2 lies entirely within C1, and if f of z is analytic on C1 and C2 in the region bounded by C1 and C2, then integral over C1 f of z is equal to integral over C2 f of z dz. So there is a condition given. There are 2 curves C1 and C2. Consider the curve C1 and the curve C2. So these 2 curves are a simple closed curves, means the beginning and the ending point for both the curves will be the same. And it is also given C2 lies entirely within C1. So this C2 lies entirely within the curve C1. So if that is the case, then f of z is analytic on C1 and C2. Even this has been given. In such case, integration over the curve C1 will be same as integral over the curve C2. So that is what is the second consequence. And the third consequence is, if C is a simple closed curve enclosing non-overlapping simple closed curve C1, C2 and so on up to Cn, if f of z is analytic in the annular region between C and these curves, then integral over C f of z dz is equal to sum of the integrals over the C1, C2, C3 and so on up to Cn. So imagine this is your entire closed curve C, and this entire closed curve C is being taken as it is having a small parts like C1, C2 and so on up to Cn. So integral over this entire curve C is going to be sum of integrals over C1, sum of integrals over C2, Cn and so on up to Cn. So that is what is your third consequence. And based on these theorem and the consequences, we shall see few problems so that you can understand that in a better way. So first one, verify Cauchy's theorem for the function f of z is equal to z square, where C is the square having the vertices 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1 and 0, 1. So it is a square. So this is what the curve is. When we draw those points which has been given in the problem on a graph sheet, this is what the curve that we get. So 0, 0, which is an origin. A is a point which is having the coordinate 1, 0. B is a point which is having the coordinates 1, 1. And C is a point which is having the coordinate 0, 1. So to prove that the Cauchy's theorem, it must be a simple closed curve. So the beginning point of the curve and the end point of the curve should be same. So let us start the curve at O and the curve should end at O itself. So we mark the directions in such a way: O to A to B, B to C, then C to O. So the beginning and the end points are same, and we have by Cauchy's theorem that integral over C f of z dz is 0. So now along the curve here is a square OABC, and f of z given as z square. So this f of z square is a function which we need to be integrated, and since the given curve is a square, it is not a smooth curve. So the square is having 4 sides. So integral must be evaluated along the 4 sides. The first side is OA, that is a C1. The curve has been split up into 4 parts: C1, C2, C3, C4. C1 is OA, C2 is AB, C3 is BC, and C4 is CO. So integration of f of z over an entire square is split up into 4 parts. So sum of all the 4 parts gives us the answer. So integral OA, integral of z square dz over OA, integral of z square dz over AB, integral of z square dz over BC, and integral of z square dz over CO, which is equal to 0. So let us consider the separate curves separately, this sub-curve separately, and we will evaluate the limits, and then we will substitute and simplify. So we know that always for a complex function, z is x plus iy and dz is dx plus idy. So here integrand is a z square. So z square is x plus iy whole square and dz is dx plus idy. So now let us consider the first part of a curve, which is OA. So along OA is our, if you can remember the curve, it is an horizontal axis. OA is our horizontal axis. So here it is equation that is an x-axis. So y is equal to 0 and dy will be equal to 0. Since it is an x-axis, there is a possibility that only x varies. And looking at the coordinates of O and A, it is very clear that x varies from 0 to 1. And so let us substitute that in this integral. Integral over OA z square dz is integral x is equal to 0 to 1. Z square, that is since y is 0, x plus iy, y is 0, only x square we have into dx, and dy is also 0, so only dx we have. So integration of x square is x cube by 3. And substituting the limits 1 and 0, the upper limit minus lower limit, we get integral over OA z square dz is 1 by 3. Similarly, let us consider the second part of the curve. The second part of the curve is AB. So if you can remember the graph that we have done, so this was O, this was A, and this is a point we have considered it as B, and this is a line. So direction is from A to B. This point is having the coordinates 1, 1, and this point has a coordinate 1, 0. So when we do so, and equation of this line is x is equal to 1, is a line which is parallel to y-axis. So dx is equal to 0. And since it is a vertical line, y varies from 0 to 1. You can observe the coordinates of point A and point B. So here y is 1 and here y is 0. So y varies from 0 to 1. So integral over AB z square dz is equal to integral y varies from 0 to 1, and x is z is x plus iy, x is equal to 1. So substituting x is equal to 1, and dz is equal to actually dx plus idy. So dx is 0 as we have evaluated, so only idy. That is why we have written it. So I into this I, we can take it outside, integral 0 to 1, expand 1 plus iy whole square by using a plus b whole square, we get it as 1 minus y square plus 2 iy into dy. So with this we can perform the integration now with respect to y. So integration of 1 is y, integration of y square is y cube by 3, integration of this is 2i y square by 2 between the limits 0 and 1. So substitute the limit, upper limit minus the lower limit. Upper limit is 1 minus 1 by 3 plus I, and lower limit, the entire term becomes 0. So on simplifying, we get 2 by 3i, and this I into I square gives you minus 1. Similarly, we have to find the part of an integration along the curve BC. BC is the third part of the square. And if you can imagine here, the graph which we have drawn, so BC is somewhere here. So this was a point B and this is a point C and the direction is here. The B coordinates are 1, 1 and C coordinates are 0, 1. So here, since it is an horizontal line, only x possibility, there is a possibility for an x to vary. So x varies from 0 to 1. X varies from 1 to 0. So x coordinate here is 1 and x coordinate here is 0. So x varies from 1 to 0 and equation of this line is y is equal to 1. So since y is equal to 1, dy will be equal to 0. So let us substitute that in the integrand. Integral BC z square dz is equal to z is x plus iy whole square into dz is dx plus I dy. So here y is equal to 1. So we have to substitute y is equal to 1 here and dy is equal to 0 here. So we have x plus I whole square and dy is 0. So only dx will be there. So integral 1 to 0, expand this by using a plus b whole square, which is a square plus b square minus 2a plus 2ab and I square gives you minus 1. So between the limits is 1 and 0. So now you can perform the integration with respect to x. So integration of x square is x cube by 3, integration of minus 1 is x, integration of this is 2i x square by 2 between the limits 1 and 0. So upper limit, the entire term becomes 0 minus for the lower limit we get this. And on simplifying we get 2 by 3 minus I. So that was along the third part of the curve. So the last part of the curve is CO. So CO is on y-axis. So equation of an y-axis is x is 0. So dx is 0. And since it is a vertical line and it is on y-axis, only there is a possibility for an y to vary. And it varies from 1 to 0 if you look at the coordinates of C and O. So integral along CO z square dz, substitute for z as x plus iy and dz as dx plus I dy. Put x is equal to 0 and dx is equal to 0 and y limits are from 1 to 0. On substituting and simplifying, we get I into I square. I square is I into I. So this is I whole square, which is minus 1, and the minus into I minus I, we have taken it outside. Integration of y square is to be done with respect to y. So minus I y cube by 3 between the limits 1 and 0. For upper limit, the entire term is 0. For lower limit, we get minus 1 by 3 and the answer is I by 3. So with this, we have completed the integration along all the 4 parts of the square, all the 4 sides of the square. Now we have to substitute. So integral over the closed curve C, z square dz was splitted up into 4 parts. All the 4 parts answer, we are substituting it here. And you can observe all the terms will get cancelled and we get the answer as 0. So integral over C, z square dz will be equal to 0. Hence, the Cauchy's theorem has been verified and that is how we will be working out the problems on Cauchy's theorem. Hope you all have understood. Thank you.